Hello everybody, welcome back once again to the Shadowrun walkthrough. We are, I think, hiring... Am I hiring? I feel like, yeah, I think it's time. Okay, so it looks like I've bumped up my charisma in my negotiation. So my charisma is actually maxed out, and then my negotiation is at 9. So just had a little bit to go there. Um, I think I just wanted to show because in the previous video there I had basically run around to hire all of the different runners just to check on kind of like the price and whatnot. Now the one thing I will say is if you've completed a set number of runs with these runners, they will actually basically talk to or have different dialogue. In this case, this is Freya. Obviously, she says something about "Hey there, golden boy," or something to that effect. And her prices are significantly reduced. If you notice there, I think I hired her for what was that 3,900. Again, I'm not maxed out on my negotiation, so if I would have brought that up to 12, which is the maximum, I think that would have reduced that even more. On top of charisma, again, that was my impression anyway. Hopefully, I don't have that wrong. I think the hiring price is the combination of your charisma and negotiation. Although I don't know that negotiation is reflected, or hiring prices of your runners are reflected in that in the negotiation stat. I could be wrong on that. I'm already super rusty. But anyways, all right. So we've got Rihanna here, and she's now been with me on quite a few successful runs. So her price has been reduced as well. And what was that? I think she was still like a 4,000 something. So still extremely expensive, considering all things considered. But she is in one of my opinion, she's like the best decker in the game. And her cyberware is phenomenal. So that's why I go with her. My only gripe actually with Rihanna is because of the little bug that happens with your weapons. Unfortunately, her SMG stat can't be upgraded to 13 because she starts out with like a 4. So again, that's a little unfortunate, but yeah, to cheat around that and zero it out and then bring it up to 13. So basically, what I mean by that is when you upgrade your firearm stat. If you've got it at 12 and one of your specific, either your pistols, SMGs, or shotguns is at 0, if you upgrade it, you will actually upgrade directly from 0 to 13, which you can't normally get. Normally, 12 is the maximum, but again, just because of the way that, I don't know, I think it was a bit of an oversight, but because of the way that the firearm stat works with the specific ones, you can get it up to 13. So really cool trick, but it's important to know that if that's your long-term plan, to never upgrade, say again with this instance, the SMG stat, just make sure you never upgrade that from 0. Just upgrade your firearm stat, and then once your firearms is at 12, then you can upgrade from 0 to 13 on your, again, say your SMG stat. So really important to know. All right, so I think in this video here, I am going to actually upgrade my cyber deck. We'll see here, because I thought it was time to actually do some matrix runs. So hopefully I do that here. I'm going to head back over to the Renraku Arcology, something like that. Basically, the best deck in the game is that Fairlight Excalibur, and that's only available at the Crime Mall, if I'm remembering correctly. But unfortunately, I'm going to need, because I don't have a whole lot of money right now, I need something like a mid-level deck. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to pick up the... No, not this one. This one's junk, too. I mean, honestly, you can kind of get whatever you can afford. Yeah, I don't have enough for that one. That's a really good deck, though, too. So I'll probably end up here with the Fuchi, the Cyber 5. And if you notice, so some of the important stats there are like hardening and response. Hardening is basically like your body stat, if I'm remembering correctly. And response is kind of like your attack speed, I guess you could say, in the Matrix. As far as programs, attack, that's a must. There's no real way to get around having that. As far as these extra, extra storage, extra memory, that sort of thing, a couple of these are actually pretty cheap. Deck response though is amazing, and if you can upgrade that, that's probably gonna do the most for you. Um, Again, it basically just is like wired reflexes for a decker. I guess is kind of the way I'd look at it. It just lets you perform actions faster in the Matrix. Some of the things, though, I would say so that my top three programs are actually obviously the attack program. The second one is deception, and then the third one is sleaze. Uh, for my money, I think that those three are just blow all the other programs out of the water. You basically don't need anything else, to be completely honest. Smoke can be useful because there's things called tar pits and tar traps in the Matrix that'll eat up your programs if you're not careful. So those are actually good to have, or smoke is good to have too, to try to kind of bait those out, I guess, for lack of a better term. Hopefully that'll actually happen, and I'll show you guys exactly what happens. Basically, a tar pit. Tar pit is the worst. It basically just eats your program, and I mean, as you gain levels of your programs, or as you get higher level programs, it starts to get really expensive really quickly. So like your level 8 attack, if that gets eaten, I would say unless you're just absolutely disgustingly rich, you need to restart your game because it'll take you way too much time to get or to farm that cash back up to buy that that program again. Which is actually why I always think it's a good idea to obviously save before you enter the Matrix. But I'm just going to buy, I think, the first level of smoke, just so I have it. And then sleaze and deception here. Again, like I was saying, these are my favorite programs in the game. I probably shouldn't have gone so heavy on deception right away. Maybe, though. I don't know. I'll probably talk a little bit about what specifically they do once we actually get into the Matrix. But the other thing is your MPCP stat basically determines a lot of how. Basically, it's it's like the master stat, I'd almost call it. So. All the rest of your stats can only be upgraded to a certain point, and once those stats get upgraded to whatever the MPCP rating is, you can't go up any higher. So that's why it's always important to keep upgrading your decks as you go, I guess. You don't necessarily need to. You can do a jump from. Okay. I don't know if I tried to run or if I tried to talk to them, but that didn't work out well. But anyways, so I've heard arguments that you don't want to keep upgrading your decks. I completely disagree with that. I think that really at every point you might as well just keep upgrading because as you upgrade, like the deck stats and the deck upgrades kind of go with the deck, I guess. I don't know. Maybe that doesn't make sense, but. There's no real loss for upgrading from, the first deck to the second one and so on and so forth. And unfortunately, that's just the way that the Matrix is kind of, or doing the Matrix runs really works out is, to be honest, you kind of want to just go incremental. You don't really need to, make massive jumps just because, every little bit helps. I guess maybe that's my overarching point is, again, every little bit helps, and upgrading from level 3 attack to level 4 attack is just it's good. It's always a good thing, and incremental upgrades are absolutely worth it in my opinion. So that's my stance on the Matrix and upgrading your deck and upgrading your stats and blah 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 blah. That being said, so again, some of the cheaper upgrades are really worthwhile to do right away. Again, like storage, because unfortunately, your deck is only going to be able to store so many data files, which is how you make your money. You can store up to 5 data files at any one time. Once you've exceeded, or once you've hit 5, you can't keep downloading. So unfortunately, you can't just rot in the matrix forever and download, 100 different files and then try to, sell them all. You have to, go in, grab 5, leave, come out, sell them, so on and so forth. There's 2 different ways to do that. You can actually just kind of like mine data from either random systems, or if you get a hold of a good one, like I think I went into the Seattle hospital and downloaded a bunch of information out of there. But I think maybe that, I don't know if that's this video or if that's next video, but we'll get into that a little bit more. So this is the I-Fiver hideout. I thought I was going to get, no, I must have waited. Eventually, I do visit the 3 different gangs and grab their arm patches or whatever, which, they say that they reduce your attacks from those characters, but I don't know if that's really the case. I always feel like you still get jumped just as much. And then actually, there's 2 big gangs. So basically, there's the 3 small gangs, and then there's 3 big ones. 2 big ones, and the 2 big ones, once you've sided with one, the other ones will hate you for the rest of the game, so it's a really important choice. But anyways, so this is, I think this is Julius Struthers. I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, it looks like I'm trying to grab a matrix run here. I think that was the plan. And basically, there's simple matrix runs, there's moderate matrix runs, and I know there's expert as well. There might even be more. I feel like there might be 4 different difficulties of matrix runs. I could be wrong. Maybe it is only 3. But anyways, the plan here is once you've taken a run like that, obviously we're gonna want to go to try to grab a data access point, whatever, a computer terminal, and we'll run. I think we have to run the passcode. Oh, there's one right there. Oh, so I need to go over to. Oh, Jesus. Lone Star's always jumping me. Quit harassing me. Get off my back, cops. So anyways, here's the downtown Seattle. This is usually where I like to do my runs at, because this little building here right next door is where the data guy is at. I forget his name right off the top of my head, but he's where you can sell your extra data. Oops, and I tried to enter the matrix with the wrong character, but whatever. All right, so we're gonna load up our programs here. The other thing with your programs you have to keep in mind is if you don't have enough memory, you can only upgrade so many or use so many different programs, and that can actually become a problem when you start getting into, like, we'll just say you start off with, I think it's attack 3. Attack 4 will be, it'll take a little bit more memory, which maybe means that you won't be able to load up smoke, or you won't be able to load up deception anymore. So again, that's why I was saying earlier, it's a really good idea to kind of incrementalize your upgrades. And that's just kind of how I think it works out, and it works out pretty well. Here I'm actually trying to use deception to get into the CPU. Wow, that actually worked. I'm kind of surprised. Okay, well, so this is was that a green 5, and deception 4 worked on. Basically, the different number designations are kind of what determines the difficulty of getting by or being successful. So if you're trying to go up against, say, like a CPU that's rated like a 6, and you're using, like, say, an attack 3, it's not gonna go well for you. And if you're trying to use deception 3 to get in there, it's not gonna work, or most times it's not gonna work. So I don't know. Maybe you just can't with that great of a difference. But again, that's why I was saying earlier, it's always a good idea to upgrade sort of incrementally. So here, what did I do here? I thought I downloaded or I got a hold of the right file, but I must not have. So every time you try to transfer data like this, it'll be either successful or not, depending on your computer score. which is again why it's so good to have a really high computer score. So there I've failed so many times. I've already got an active alert. So now I'm going to bounce back to the CPU and cancel that alert. If you don't do that and you keep trying to mine data, it'll just eventually kick you out. Here I'm in the wrong. This is the wrong data store for the type of, or the actual information for the run that I'm trying to make. So I don't know. Oh, here we go. It looks like I'm gonna go to the right one. Basically, these systems are all, they're not randomly generated. They're actually, well, in a way, they're not. Once you've entered the system, like the systems are set up basically the same way every time. So like if you go into the Seattle General Hospital system, that map is always going to be the same. Oh, here I must just not be in the right system because I should have already found the data that I needed. Otherwise I did and I deleted it right away. I'm not sure here. We'll see. I have a ton of room still. I'm surprised. Must have really upgraded my storage right away. But this is the annoying thing about not having like a maxed out computer score is I have to keep going back to the CPU to shut the alarm back off. So again, that's why it's so important to have a really good computer stat if you're going to try to mess around here in the matrix. So again, I'm not really sure though what's going on here with the actual run. So normally what happens is if you go to the right data store and you try to transfer the data, if you're on a run and you're at the right data store, it'll automatically find the right file that you're looking for. So here I've finally maxed out, and here this is a bad idea. Here I'm actually going to erase one of the smaller, that system activity or whatever file. So you can do that because generally the idea is that the larger these, okay, that worked out really well. Usually the larger the file, the more likely it is that it's worth, more money. Or usually they're worth more money, the larger ones anyway. That's my experience anyway. So generally what I do is I avoid the 20 meg data. Here's 600, 1200, another 6. Oh, a useless code. Actually, yeah, two or three useless data files in that batch. But hey, that's not too bad. That was super easy. Again, unfortunately, it was a little time consuming just because. Oh, okay. Yeah. So okay. That's weird. I actually must have found the file, and I just didn't see. For the actual run that we're on. or I've just completely got the wrong run or something. I'm not sure. Here, actually, what I should have started to do is actually just try to talk my way up. My character's charisma is at 6, so kind of talking my way out of those situations as opposed to trying to run and stuff probably would have been a better idea. But anyway, so we're gonna head back to the Johnson there. I think that was it Julius Struther, I think. Which I'm completely lost on where this guy was at. I think I'm looking for the big run. Yeah, this is it. Alright, yeah. So this is a good place to start out if you want to start on your matrix runs. Looks like they owe you some credits. Yeah, so there you go. I must have downloaded that file and just not noticed. That must have been what happened. So basically that was, about as easy as you can get. I'll be honest though, if you're just looking to make some money, because I don't know, I think you only get, it's either 1 or 2 karma for these basic matrix runs. So if that's what you're looking to do, I'll be honest, I think it's better. You're better off just not even going to a Johnson and just jump into a system and just keep mining the data over and over. There's different ways of going about it. So basically what you can do is you can start a run, which actually this is what I recommend. So I recommend starting a run and going to the best data store. The data stores are basically, it's something like green, yellow, orange, red. There might be more colors, but green are the ones where you're not going to make as much money because they're the kind of like the lowest, crappiest, unimportant data, and then they gradually get more or more important and thus worth more money as you go up, maxing out at red. Red data stores are the best places to mine data, to be completely honest. But and obviously it's going to be harder if you just don't expect to jump into the red data stores and mine data out of there immediately. You're just not going to be able to do that. Your deck is just not going to be good enough. So pace yourself. When it starts to get too annoying or you fail too much and it takes too much time, that's when you're going to want to try to either upgrade if you've got the money or try visiting a different system. But again, one of the things that I like to do, or what I did, is I actually I picked up a run from, oh boy, who was it? It might have been the next Johnson up, so it might have been a more moderate run or a little bit more difficult. Again, I don't remember. But anyways, I ended up going to the Seattle General. Oh, I think that's a tar pit. Yeah, that was a tar pit. So this is exactly why you want to save before you enter the Matrix every time, because that just ate my attack program, and unfortunately that's incredibly expensive to try to get that, or to buy that again. So that was that. In my opinion, it's the worst defense system to run into. Oh my god, and then we get jumped by hellhounds and vampires. Wow. It's going to be one of those days. But, yeah, so, again, that's why you always want to save before you go into the Matrix. Anytime you run into tar pits like that, you just want to restart. Or, if it eats something useful. Now, the other thing is, once you know where it's at, you can try to bait it by using a different program, like Smoke, or, I don't know, what's another good one? I don't know, you could throw, like, a crappy degrade at it or something like that. I don't know. Just don't try to attack it right away because it'll, chew it up. So we'll see what I actually end up doing here. Otherwise, you can always sleaze your way by stuff too. I'm going to go for the data store right away. Probably not a bad idea. So actually, I mean, the other thing is, if you run into a system like this where there's like a tar pit and that you're not going to be able to get by it, it actually might be better off to just cancel the run and try to pick up a new one, because again, I think there's certain systems that just aren't even worth messing with. And again, if you my attitude towards doing these Matrix runs is that unfortunately they're time consuming, and it's kind of like doing the ghoul bounties, right? Where they're good for money. Specifically the ghouls are good for at the beginning of the game, where you need to to make some money, and it's not too difficult. But I look at Matrix runs as specifically for mining data. That's really the only reason why I ever come into these. Here I don't know what I tried to do here. I tried to use Smoke just to see if I could. Oh, okay. What the heck? I feel like my program ended up I got chewed up. So that didn't work. I was trying to bait that with Smoke, but I don't know, it wasn't eating it, so I'm not really sure what happened there. But yeah, anyways, again, I feel like if you run into systems like that, they're just not really worth the time if you can't get by them in a better way. There's other ways of getting around these those tar pits. Again, specifically, you want to throw some other program at it to try to get that program eaten instead. That's a weird bug there. If you noticed, right when I entered this, it looked like there was a tar pit there, but it wasn't. Which I don't understand why that happens, but whatevs, it is what it is. But yeah, the other thing is, so one of the great ways to deal with tar pits is to sleaze your way by. So basically, sleaze works where you don't actually enter the node, or you can't interact with the node. So like, if you sleaze your way into a data store, you can't mine the data. You won't be able to transfer the data. Same thing as if you sleaze your way into a CPU, you can't turn off alarms. because sleaze, it's almost just a way to bypass the node. So, um, but it's a great way to get by tar pits. Absolutely great way to get by those. So, of course, your sleaze program needs to be good enough, you know. But I don't know why I did that. Just erased some data randomly. Okay, maybe I must have found the file I wanted or something, or decided to get the heck out of there for whatever reason. All right, so 800, 1,000, 150. Wow, that's a pretty weak run. So again, that's an example of a pretty weak system, though, and that's kind of what you can expect from some of these, low level runs. So here I'm able to just keep going in. So basically, this is what you can keep doing. So I had mentioned this earlier. The one system that I farmed a lot was the Seattle General Hospital system, and what I actually ended up doing there was going to I think it was an Orange data store, and it wasn't the right data store for the run. So, because I don't know, maybe Seattle General's probably got like 4 data stores total on its system. And I think the one that I actually needed to go to was a green one for the actual run. But what I did was I just kept going to the orange one and basically downloading 5 different files, and then I would leave, and then sell those files at whatever that dude's name is. He looks like it's a Boris, look-alike. But basically it allows you to keep going into the system and keep farming the data without actually completing the run. Which again, I don't know. It was a really good way to make a ton of money, and it's kind of a mid-range system, so it didn't end up being too tough. I think I needed I had like an attack 4 or attack 5. Same with deception, it was 4 or 5, and then I think my sleaze was about the same thing, maybe like a 4. So the actual cost to actually make that happen wasn't too bad. Here, I'm not sure what I'm doing. Keep using smoke for whatever reason, but yeah. So again, that was kind of my strategy. And then once you're comfortable, you can try some of the higher level systems, but just be aware that if you have some excessive difficulty, because you just don't want to try to go into a one of the expert systems with like an attack program of 4 and like a mid-range deck. It's just not going to go well, and you're going to waste a ton of time. So again, farm up whatever data, however much you want to get. Keep upgrading your deck. Keep upgrading your programs, and it'll just make things go by faster and faster. It's just kind of, unfortunately, the way it works in this game. You can't really just jump from, your first garbage deck and, expect it to, have like a level 8 attack program with it and, wreck every system. It's just not how it works. So, again, gradual, work your way up, or completely avoid the Matrix. I'll be completely honest. I think the first couple of times I played the game, I actually really liked the Matrix, and I spent a lot of time with it. But as I've played, in later times I've gone through the game, I feel like I like the Matrix less and less for whatever reason. It is what it is. But you either like it or you don't, I guess. But unfortunately, it is a great way to make money. So here you have it. So this was the data store that I needed to be in for this for the run, and it's in orange. And again, right away there, it found the data file that I needed and downloaded it. So we're just gonna try to grab as much data here as we can before it either kicks us out or I guess I could go back to the CPU. I'm not sure how I got around this, to be completely honest, without getting my program destroyed. I'm not sure what I did there. I wasn't paying attention. It was probably deception, and it actually worked. I'm guessing that's how I got in, because I sure didn't attack it, if I remember correctly. So, anyways, that's that, and again, I think that if you can come across a good system, again, where especially if you've got like a mid-range deck, and if you've got the programs and the deck to get in here and mine this data, I think that's just the way to go. I don't know that there's much more that you can do short of joining the mafia to kind of really get you a hold of a lot of money with the kind of speed that you can out of matrix runs. Corporate runs, those kind of things are they can be extremely time consuming too. So I don't know. Again, that's my recommendation, I guess I would say, for if you just need money and you need to look at that. Here we go. This is where all the big stuff is. There you have it. So that's the payoff when you break into an orange data store. That was probably what, 10,000 or more, probably more. Yeah, so hugely successful, and again, that is right there is why I really like to do these matrix runs for the making money. I don't think that you can even come close to that with even like a corporate run. You can probably make like 6,000 or so, but they're super time consuming. Yeah, you get more or you get karma for them, where that's the real detriment to just farming the data like I've suggested is, unfortunately, you just don't get karma unless you're actually on a run and complete the run. So, and even then, it's not very much karma. So, but I think there's other ways, other better ways to get karma in this game. So, that's my thoughts. That's a lot of the Matrix stuff. I don't know how much more I'll really do. We'll see. But I'm about out of time. So, as always, hope the guide was helpful, and hope you join me for more videos. Thanks for watching.